Just for the people watching that maybe aren't familiar with bridging finance, could you give us a couple of examples of the type of deal you maybe might put together?
Okay. Well, look, I suppose probably before we get into specifics of deals, it'd be useful to sort of set out the general parameters of our transactions. Our loan, our target loan size is anything from 100,000 up to, we would talk about 25 million, but in Northern Ireland here we're probably 10 to 12 million. The maximum term we will do is 3 years. Our average term across the book's probably more like 18 months. Loan to value wise, it's really down to, I suppose, finding a level of risk we're happy with. But typically we could be anything between 45 and 60% loan to value. For the right transaction, there may be a bit more in it, but that's generally where we target. And pricing, well, that's pricing on application. I think, Mark, it depends on the risk profile of the transaction. It depends on the nature of the asset that we lend into. So the likes of residential investment, we would be pretty keen, and I'd like to think would be competitive in our marketplace, as we are in all asset classes. But something that we would perceive to be higher risk, obviously, would be priced accordingly.
Yeah, I know, for example, we've had a few startup scenarios that you've approved for us,
Yeah,
and you'll take that on a case by case basis.
case by case basis, we're happy to look at transactions like that. I think where we look at assets and borrowers who are looking to trade, I think the background and the ability of the borrower becomes very, very important to us. Obviously, if you're buying a dry investment in the centre of Belfast, the quality of the borrower becomes less important because you have an asset there that you could sell in the morning. When we're in startup, we rely very heavily on the client to get the business to a point where our exit is deliverable. Now, within that, we're still lending on property, and I suppose we get ourselves comfortable with the transaction on the basis that, even if things don't go fully to plan, our loan is underwritten by a good quality asset in the right location for that particular activity.